Good afternoon, everyone. I welcome you to this meeting of the County Council, Quarry County Council. I'd ask everyone, first of all, put their phones on silent, flight mode, or turn them off, please. Item 1 is the apologies and attendance but via audio-visual link. I note that we have an apology from Stephen Ring from Lithgow, and I believe we have an apology from Eric Marnie. We'll take it as an apology at this stage. Could I ask someone to move those apologies be accepted, please? Councillor Gulliver, Councillor Fry, thank you. All in favour? Accepting those apologies, thank you. Constituent Council elect member resignations. We note the resignations of member Michelle Price-Jones and Jill O'Grady, and we're very sad that they have both resigned, having contributed actively to this county council, but they resigned from their respective councils, so they can no longer be on this organisation. Therefore, the recommendation is that the council acknowledge the resignations of, I think we say, member Michelle Price-Jones and member Jill O'Grady as the constituent council elected members. Can I have someone to move that, please? Member Gulliver and member Dawson, thank you. Okay, all in favour? Thank you. Item 2 is the acknowledgement of country. Central Tablelands Weeds Authority acknowledges the Wiradjuri people, the traditional custodians of the lands where we work and live. CTWA celebrates the diversity of Aboriginal peoples and their ongoing cultures and connections to the lands and waters of the New South Wales Central Tablelands. Item 3 is members and the public that are attending via audio and visual link or in the gallery are advised that the proceedings of this meeting, other than any confidential matters, will be recorded and made publicly available on the CTWA website, and persons attending the meeting should note that their conduct is being recorded, and if there are any defamatory comments, then I will ask that person to leave. Thank you. Item 4, disclosure of interest. Council members are reminded of the obligations of the Council's Code of Conduct to disclose and appropriately manage conflicts of interest. If any member has any disclosure of interest to declare, they should do so now. Are there any disclosures of interest by any member? No disclosures of interest noted. Thank you. Item 5 is confirmation of the minutes of the ordinary meeting of the 20th of December 2024. Recommendation is Council adopt the minutes of the ordinary meeting of the Central Tablelands Weeds Authority held at 7 Lee Street, Kelso at 12:13 p.m. on 20th December 2024. Could I have a mover, please, that those minutes be accepted? Member Gulliver and member Dawson. Thank you. Are there any discussion in relation to the minutes? If not, I put the motion that those minutes be accepted. All in favour? Aye. Carried unanimously. Thank you.
Chairman, item missing a heading, weed clusters working party and priority matters. Should have a heading, weed cluster working party.
Item 6 is priority matters, and I'll call it item 6.1, which will be, weed cluster working party.
Yep.
And the recommendation is that Council notes the report, and 2, the General Manager proposed changes to the CTWA compliance and enforcement policy to establish the concept of weed clusters as another means of encouraging landholders to address their weed biosecurity duty. A report will be presented for the May 2025 ordinary meeting seeking adoption. Could I have a mover, please? Member Fry, seconder please. Member Gulliver, thank you. Discussion on this matter. If I could, General Manager, so I understand from what is stated below that we're grouping clusters together and basically providing a group direction or group weed control notice initially, and then directions, and then following through with that group through to ultimate. If no work's done, then they can still be penalised and prosecuted.
Correct.
I thought there was discussion at one stage to say that if the economic conditions of that group and the ability of that group to be able to control these weed clusters was deemed insufficient, then we would also be assisting with alternative arrangements such as looking at carbon farming initiatives, etc. I thought that a previous officer, Mick, was looking at that.
The communications that we would intend having with the cluster, hopefully, if they would consent to all being in a group email, that type of offer would be put in front of them. That information would be made available to them. And we could even suggest that we might arrange a speaker for them if they wanted to meet and hear from someone that's offering those types of services. Yeah, I'll definitely take your comment on board.
Because one of the factors I remember that was put to us by especially people, let's say north of Bathurst, in wool growing areas, which don't have a lot of the areas are not highly fertile agricultural land, was that the costs involved with extensive spraying, where their only enterprise was merino sheep, they had considerable troubles being able to fund those activities from running merino sheep, etc., or all their agricultural activities. And so the alternative uses of that land needed to be considered.
Yes.
So I think we need to also look at, as part of our part of our reason to ETRA being here, is trying to facilitate where the economics are just not in it, looking at alternatives or offering up or suggesting alternate strategies for that land. Maybe you'd like to comment on that, Member Gulliver, because you're obviously north of Bathurst. I have known this issue.
Farmer at the way to bring me.
Yeah.
He spent, to give you an idea, mostly actually, $28,000 for 70 hectares.
Yeah.
They can't afford it.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
And they could do it when he was younger. He climbed the hills himself, but that's got past that time. And unfortunately, we've run out of the mum and dad farmers. They're shrinking all the time. Do all that work. You get paid nothing for it, so to speak, because they own the property, but they can't afford to pay. I was quite amazed actually for 70 hectares. They just can't afford it.
That's right.
Wool only.
Yeah, I've done the economics on looking at that, and I just can't. That's why I've raised the issue, because I can't see the economics paying for that sort of stuff. And that's why I think we've got to look at some alternative strategies. And I know half the time it's convincing the landholder they've actually got to look to another thing because they're attached to the land and to the enterprise. But it's a very difficult situation.
Well, he's done that. He's gone wind farming.
Yeah. Any other comments on this? Because I think it's a crucial area. I mean, I think it's one of the most biggest things we're going to deal with. The economics of actually being able to support the weed spraying necessary to keep these weeds under control. I think it's beyond a lot of people's capabilities.
You've grown up with farming all your life. You understand fire and flood, drought, disease. It's amazing we survive.
Yeah.
On average, you get a unique proposition now and again where someone really does make some money out of certain studs or whatever it might be, but the average farmer, even though he's running a good enterprise, is suffering financially. You can't keep up with costs.
And there are so many factors in it. There's the topography, there's the soil type, there's the rainfall, and all those factors. And if you're in marginal areas and you don't have the ability to change enterprises, with whatever the best benefit is, you're in a difficult position. And I know in particular a lot of the areas, north of north of Bathurst, that where they're running marinos, it's a real problem.
Yeah.
Because the money's not in the water.
Well, there's less and less of them. They just sell out
Mm.
and they sell to the Sydney people that just want to go shooting in the hills.
Yep.
And weeds, what are they? Yep, that's a real problem.
Okay, all right. So I put recommendation, I'll call it 6.1, as it stands. All in favour? Thank you. We go, I'll call 6.2 the remaining, the report on the priority matters. And the recommendation is that the report be noted. Let's move that, please. 6.2, thank you, Tony. Member Gulliver and Member Dawson, thank you. Any discussion on these matters? I just have on the resistance, we've now, if I could, through your general manager, probably through you to the chief biosecurity officer. So we have actually got DPI's confirmation they will undertake the sample testing. When do we believe that will start occurring?
Have confirmation from the Department of Primary Industries that they will undertake a risk assessment of a weed that may be known as serrated tussock resistant. So that's what we've asked for. In relation to the testing, the department has a budget and we can access that budget for testing. They've given us that commitment. That commitment runs out 30 June this year. I today am in your finance report requesting some funds to actually pay for resistance testing after that period.
That's why I was, yeah, because I did see that and then I was wondering what the DPI is doing it. Why? Yeah, okay. So it runs out 30th of June.
And they've got no commitment. They're unable to make any commitment to us in the next financial year.
So what about testing other things, you know, Chilean needlegrass, etc.? That I know that's not in this one at this stage.
This matter is focused on serrated tussock.
Right, okay. But do you have a timetable for which to get them sufficient samples to be able to utilise their budget through 30th of June?
Yes, we've got quite a collection.
We've got a collection of samples there to be sent. We're just talking with DPI about their ability to do the tests and get them back to us before they close their program down.
That's what I'm worried about, yeah. So how do we get it to them quickly? If we get it in the door, does that mean they have to test it?
What's troubling us a little bit is that we do not know what's going to happen with the research arm that we're dealing with at the moment after 30 June.
We'll get them.
Neither do they.
Well, let's get the tests in and get them done before the 30th of June. What about?
Maybe the private arrangement is seems a better relationship.
Well, we've probably got enough material to be able to give them it and to also go a private arm if we have to.
Yes, and I think I make that request for some budget today to actually have.
But let's get them to the DPI, so at least if they're in the door, it's going to be harder for them to throw them back. If you don't get them in the door, they can say, well, we never got the stuff and we're now closing. Let's say they're closing the research arm or something, or they don't have the funds. But if we've actually got them there and said, well, we relied on what you said you had funds to do the testing, we've given you the samples, so.
Yeah, I know what your point, Mr. Chairman. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a supporter of that. They've got to get under their nose and they can trip over.
Yeah, you've got to get a receipt. You've got a receipt and say, well, why haven't you tested this on end of February? Yeah, guess right, you've got no funding part of June. You said it February had funding.
And then we'll get a memo and everybody stay.
Anyway, just get them in the door. Organisation structure, right, we've dealt with that. General manager recruitment, we've got a paper on that. Any update on the Forest Corporation roads? Are they going to spend any more money? You got a report back from them when they were reviewing their agreement and their funding amount, because they only got 20,000 to it at that stage.
All discussions we've had with them are staying on track.
Have you got any idea of what they're proposing for next year?
Not at this stage.
On the Central Tablelands Regional Priority Weed Inspection Plan, we went back to them with some comments, didn't we? That's the second last one.
That's the regional project, yes. Chris has been participating in that activity and I understand that that document is about to be adopted.
Are we happy with it, or do we believe it's got some deficiencies?
It's a discussion around weeds of national significance and state weeds.
Right.
So we're meeting the requirements to plan quite easily with the inspector.
Are we happy that all the weeds that concern our area have been appropriately noted in that plan?
The plan only looks at the higher level weeds, where the other plan,
The regional.
the regional plan is the one that deals with things down to asset protection, where this plan looks at sort of containment, eradication and.
This is called the Central Tablelands Regional Priority Weed Inspection Plan.
It's poorly named.
So that if it's the Central Tablelands one, it has to deal with weeds right through our area, not just national and state. But with the national state, and as it's called the Central Tablelands, then you have the Central Tablelands one.
Yes, but it's referring to state and regional priority weeds.
Now, what about the next one?
This is the higher level weeds. That falls under the regional management. Regional management plan is the one that then picks up the widespread asset protection weeds.
Okay, so sitting on my desk is a regional priority weeds plan, right? Which deals with the national, state, and then the ones that deal with this area. You're saying this is not the same plan? No, this is not updated.
This one is focusing on high risk sites, pathways, and things like that. That is more the focus of this one. The other one is the one that focuses more on properties and down to your asset protection level weeds.
So in this plan is blackberry now. Does this name weeds?
It focuses on weeds. I don't believe blackberry is named.
So it's
It's
just,
it's in the management plan.
so this doesn't name any weeds, it just talks about,
The high risk pathways that we
Right.
need to be inspected.
okay. And it includes rail lines, roads, rivers, it doesn't talk about private property at all.
Its focus is on the pathways and the high risk sites, like sale yards and nurseries.
Again, it's poorly named,
is.
semantic issue.
Very. Okay.
Well, Jim and I had exactly the same concern about it when it came to my desk. And it didn't really focus on the weeds of national significance and state weeds. But you can see in the left, the box next to this report. Originally, we're aware that the Weeds Committee was looking at incursions of priority weeds, which are
Yeah.
ponds and state weeds, including the necessary inspection regime for those. So this document has come out, that is the title. So Chris and I did raise that. So the Regional Weeds Committee will give that consideration, that it's not well named for what it's doing.
No. And I would have thought, does it end up being an overarching document to the regional weeds plan?
It's just a separate,
No,
it's just totally, it's on a different level.
Yeah, I realise
Different plane.
it's on a different level, but you really can't have one without the other. You've got to consider pathways of incursion as well as how those, what the weeds are eventually. Anyway, I'll leave that to you.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other issues on that item 6.2? So I put the motion that the report be noted. All in favour? Thank you. We go to item 7, governance program. The investment reports for December 2024 and January 2025. Did we get a November one? investment report? I thought at the last meeting we said it was.
At the December meeting, you received a November.
We did, okay. Okay. All right, the recommendation is that council notes the report. I think of, notes the report. They were provided as late reports. Everyone saw them? Yes. I think they came out 2 days ago, yes. Right, could I have a mover, please? Member Fryer, Member Dawson, thank you. Discussion on the investment report?
Mr Chairman, at our December meeting, the council did resolve to actually workshop these reports. And I have consulted with yourself and the Deputy Chair, asking to move that into our budget discussion in April or March, that we can walk you through how these reports are developed, so they're a lot easier for you to understand and read. I'm no expert on this. I'm not qualified in accounting, and I would suggest that that workshop will be of value to the council, so we become more comfortable with this. These are a standard reporting mechanism, I understand, for local government, that this is the same framework. I may have misled you when I said that this was developed locally. Not so. This is the standard reporting requirement for local government. So it involves both the investment reports and also the quarterly budget review statements as well.
Thank you. Any discussion on these, the 2 reports? If not, I'll put the recommendation. All in favour? Thank you. 7.1.2 is the quarterly budget review statement. The recommendation is the council notes the report. Can we move it, please? Prime Member Gulliver, thank you. Discussion in relation to the QBRS.
There's some requests here.
Right.
Yeah, only the rapid flow meter situation that we were sorting out, just a little update. I know there was a 22K in there, speaking to it.
Yes, we are in the process of returning them.
Yeah.
Chris has now collected them all, and they have to be packaged up and returned when they receive them.
Just couldn't make sense.
Capital funds.
Yeah.
All the capital funds have been invested. The council has kept 4 devices in use. They've had a little bit of a repair job, and we are utilising those at the moment. So we can demonstrate to you what we see as a real value in having these tools. We can show you the maps and the data that we're collecting from them with the ones that we are utilising.
There is a report to close committee on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a report. I've seen it there.
Yeah, thank you. Mr Chairman, there's another couple of matters in this. There's some recommended adjustments in the QBA that I am seeking $5,000 to be able, a budget allocation of $5,000 for the purpose of serrated tussing resistance testing, just to have those funds available in this budget should the department's relationship run out sooner.
Do you think it'll run out sooner than that?
We're not getting a straight answer.
What's even more
But
thing?
my understanding is that the research team that we've got access to is still undertaking that work. My concern is if we invest in that and it doesn't deliver.
It will be stuck. That's why I'm saying we should be able to get enough serrated tussic to be able to get the seed to be able to get them some and have some to go to prime.
Correct. So I am seeking.
Sure, there's not a lack of seed around. Well, it may be now. It's too late. It's too late now.
We've collected a fair bit already. No, I'm requesting a budget adjustment of $5,000 for serrated tussing resistance testing. I'm also, and this I think is in your.
Yes, we need an extra budget
for $3,000, which is included in this as well.
So, gentlemen, within the confines, we can go to confidential to discuss it. The 2 issues are either workers' comp issue payment or non-payment of workers' comp. and now the cessation of a wage.
Yeah.
Were we expecting a further workers' comp payment that we have not received, or did we expect that to finish at the same time as the wage was finished?
When
It seems that the net position is slightly different than what we projected.
correct.
Okay, so if you need to go to confidential, we can.
I think I can address that without going to confidential. We have given you a bit of an update. It's on the back of the December 2nd quarter, and it identifies that the workers' compensation arrangements were 52,944, and that our wages no longer being paid is 47,264. So the actual result there is reasonably close to being zero effect on our budget.
Well, there is a effect, what's it, 45,000, what did you say, 46?
53 and 47. So you've got $6,000 there.
Right.
Now,
Did we expect-
the way the insurer deals with that is it'll affect our premium going forward
That's right.
after we move out of it. But this is the final adjustment for the salaries and wages component.
So how much of our total do we, our workers' comp insurance, is that included within, that's included as a separate line item, it's not grouped up into insurance, is it?
We're insured by a mutual,
Yes.
so we're in with the group, which is a lot.
No, but in our QBRS and in our figures,
That's the premium for the insurance cover.
yes, and is include the workers' comp or not? The workers' comp is on cost, is usually related to employment.
The workers' compensation has a line item
Yeah.
in our budget. Yeah, that has its own cost, yes.
Yeah, that's right.
So you'll be able to see that adjustment if it does, when it does occur. We're in the process of renewal of insurance at the moment. We should know the renewal costs by June of this year.
Do you have anyone on workers' comp at the moment?
No,
We did have.
The way I
That isn't that for
Sorry.
confidentiality.
That side's all right, we're not naming anyone. Yeah.
The way I understand workers' comp from my experience with it, it's not like it was in the old days. It's a buffer now. And then whatever the claim is, you have to, the employer has to pay the claim off over X amount of years.
In regard to that, that's what's going to affect our premium.
Sorry.
That'll affect our premium.
Yeah, but I'm saying it's used to be so insurance was insurance, but now you're actually paying the claim off.
correct.
Yeah.
So you think if you paid a set premium like your house and your house burns down, you get back another workers' comp. And another interesting statistic for what it's worth. I think it's 35% medical, 65% lawyers.
Expensive.
Right,
So they're the two adjustments, Mr. Chairman.
so we've now projected yearly, and the budget is for a negative 13,807. Do you think we can, do you see, well, at this stage, we can't foresee anything else that would drastically change that?
The sale of chemical, you've got something to say?
Yeah, what's happening with the chemical? We still selling it?
We are selling at cost at the moment.
Yeah, but it's going out the door. We are selling it.
I'll ask Chris just to comment on how we're going with chemicals.
Just the, us explain.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's moving slowly. But it is moving.
Right,
The other sales are steadily carrying on.
yes.
How much have they done, Chris?
865 off the top of my head.
Sorry.
I think it's 864.
It was selling for about 1,000, wasn't it?
No.
No.
All right, suppose Andrew, you and I could buy one each to help out.
That's right.
What about you, Ben?
Well, I don't need it.
So,
I'm good, brother.
okay, so we're confident, when do you think that we will get rid of all of that, Chris? And current sales,
We should chew up a fair chunk of it.
Area.
And then we'll have the balance to get rid of.
so,
That.
so in current hectares, the area of the serrated tussock, how much will that use?
current figures on the area, if everyone does what they're gonna do, we probably use up in the vicinity of about 90 drums.
90 drums, and you've divided that between, obviously, there's people doing blackberry and people doing tussock, so that's just the tussock, right? And how many will that leave us?
I think at present we're sitting in the 90s, sort of high 90s, low.
So after the aerial program, we envisage we won't have that much left.
We won't have a great deal left.
Okay, all right, thank you. Anything else, gentlemen? Sorry, ladies, gentlemen, members? All right, if not, I put the recommendation, all in favour? Thank you. 7.1.3 is the weed action program. The recommendation is that council notes the report. Can I have a mover, please? Member Gulliver, Member Fry, thank you. Any update on that, General Manager? And can you explain to us how the figure of 358,388 was calculated?
And that number's actually gone since I wrote the report. The closing of this grant occurred at 4 o'clock on Wednesday. So this week. This report was written the previous week, so that 358 has now changed by $17,000. It's increased.
So how can you explain to us how that was calculated?
The 358,
Plus
yes.
17, so that,
The grant application is very clear to us now. It's broken into 4 major strategies, and the department have advised us that 50% of the funding that we're asking for will come out of the goal 1 of the plan, and goal 1, Chris, is
So goal 1 is focusing predominantly on new incursions of high priority weeds.
so that's first inspections.
First inspections, pathways, rail, road, water, right, all that sort of stuff. Goal 2 focuses on,
what percentage is goal 2?
goal 2 is approximately 25%. So that focuses on weeds of containment, eradication up through to prevention, state prohibited matter and that. And
We
that's-
have a couple of those weeds in the region.
Sticky knife shredders.
Yeah, so that's then focusing on not so much the first inspection, because that's in goal 1, because we find that then it's dealing with the control and moving forwards once we've identified those sites.
So what weeds fall into that for us? Sticky nightshade and what?
So we've got Mexican feathergrass, which is our prohibited matter one, which we're still going through the process of the 7 years we've got to be clean for before we can get that. Even though we don't have any plants, we've got to sustain 7 years of being
Eventually.
so we can move out.
What else?
Then we move into containment and eradication, which is like sticky nightshade, rope pear, gorse, broom, and things like that that are outside of our core infestation areas. Right. Then we move into goal 3, which doesn't have a weighting on it for DPI, because goal 3 is solely council contributions. So that's things like all of our re-inspections for all of our asset protection weeds and all of those sort of category. Then goal 4 moves into basically is predominantly reporting and then training and education, not only for internal staff, but then also training, educating for the public and everything.
So could I suggest for the next council meeting, if you could just do a summary of that? I think it would assist councillors in understanding how that's put together and what we get wet funding for and what we don't. It doesn't have to be huge, just a page more.
Yeah, the renewal process is, it hasn't been pleasant. It's been a very difficult task.
Oh, I realise
They changed it dramatically from the first year of the grant application as well.
So what I'm suggesting, if we've got a map of that, and if we have to modify some of our business practices so we can, maximise our funding, we need to look at that.
Yeah.
And I think it's good if we have a summary so that we, as a county council, understand how it's put together. And that also may influence our organisational structure moving
Going
forward.
forward.
So if we could have that for the next meeting, that would be appreciated. Or even for the work, that might help with the financial workshop in April too.
That might be the best place, and we could actually give, we could put it up on the screen and work our way through it for all the members.
If we could do that, so other members agree?
Workshop.
Yeah.
That if you explain.
Yeah, yeah. All right, thank you. Any further discussion on this matter? If not, I put the recommendation. All in favour? Thank you. 7.14 is the AREC delegate. The recommendation is the council elect and appoint a non-voting delegate to council to the Audit Risk and Improvement Committee, AREC. 2, endorse the appointment of independent members per recommendation of the AREC chairperson to appoint Stephen Coates for term 22 May 2025 to 21st May 2029. 3, note the draft minutes of the AREC meeting conducted 14th of February 2025.
Andrew, that number 3 is actually moved to confidential, those minutes are in common.
Yeah, can we move that item to confidential for decisioning?
I think,
Is that okay? Just because of,
The whole narrative.
yeah,
I will move, yes. I think it's a confidential nature, General Manager. Do you agree?
Yes.
All right, could we move the whole of 7.14 to confidential? You've got to make the ultimate decision.
probably have to,
Could I ask someone that they move that this matter be moved to confidential, please? Member Fryer, seconder. Member Dorset, thank you. All in favour?
probably need to see if there's any objections from the press or the public. If there's any reason why it shouldn't be confidential.
No, as long as the General Manager believes it's that case, I think you're right.
Perfect, looks like we
All
saw it.
right, thank you. So, finally, I agree. Item 8 is roadside spraying program. The recommendation is that council notes the report. Remove it, please. Gulliver, seconder. Fine, discussion. I had some discussion and no one else has.
Kick us off, Mabry.
Well, if I could, General Manager, I found this report not only confusing, but slightly concerning in inaccuracy. So for Bathurst, let's start with that. First line, bullet point says total kilometres of remaining roadside to be sprayed to complete section 1 is 93 kilometres. Right? Go down to the heading under Bathurst remaining. Kilometres remaining in section 1 equals 0 kilometres. Is it 93 or is it 0?
0, that's right.
So why have you got at the top total kilometres of remaining roadside to be sprayed to complete section 1 equals 93?
That's at the start of the program before we start spraying.
Okay, well, it doesn't make that clear. So we have 0 and we have kilometres remaining in section 2 is the whole amount, 324 kilometres. So at this stage, we haven't started section 2 for Bathurst.
And we have, so at the start of the program, there's 93 Ks.
Yep.
Section 1 and the whole of section 2.
Yes.
So the date we've sprayed section 1, because we're at 131 Ks, section 1's done. And then commenced into section 2.
So you've so the amount.
All the section 1 is done. And we're part way through the 325 Ks of section 2.
So what you were missing, Mr. Chair, is the middle dot point under completed to date, which links the two figures 93 and 0.
Yeah.
Well, it explains that we've completed section.
So 200, so it was all 206 kilometres, wasn't it?
Is it 206?
Well, no. So we've got 93 remained at the beginning of the program. Then we've got 131 completed to date. So does that mean we've done the 93?
We've done the 93 and the balance of the 131, when you take 93 off, is in section 2.
So that means you've done 38 of section 2. Does that mean, is that right?
Yeah, approximately.
So if you've done 38, how much of the 19,644 have you got left?
Well, at that point of writing the report, 9,644, I don't know off the top of my head what's there exactly right now. But is that what's when you look at it?
And that was before you'd done any of section 2, I assume.
No, the 19,644 is what's left after the 131.
Yeah. But you've then above said there's 325 kilometres to be completed in section 2. So you've got remaining, you've said there's none in section 2 being done at this, when you wrote this report. And you've got 1,960 for 404, but you've done 131 kilometres, which must have indicated you've done 38 kilometres of section 2. That's where I'm confused.
Okay, I see what you mean here. So 328 should be minus 30 odd kilometres.
325 should be minus 38. Or should it be? Is the 19,644,
The 325 should be minus the 38.
you've got 287 to do, is that right?
I guess it's, I haven't calculated the numbers right now as we're talking. Three eight seven.
287,
287, I've got it
that's
here.
right. So if there's 287 of the 19,644, how much of the 287 do you believe will be done at current rates?
They're approximately somewhere between about 50 to 60.
So they'll still have 230 left. 220 to 230. So
220 to
But all that's
230.
governed on which individual roads they get to. Road.
I understand that, but we're trying to work on average pricing and that's all count, you know. So you're gonna, so in section 2, you're saying Bathurst will have current funding, etc., 230, 240 roughly left undone in section 2 at the end of the roadside spraying program for this year. Is that right?
Yes, potentially.
Right. Let's go to Blaney. So they've got 126 kilometres to be completed in section 2 and they've only got $7,421 left. Is that right? But then at the bottom you said leaving approximately 7,000 for funding for the completion of section 1. Is that section 2 or section 1? Should be section 2, surely. Right, so how much will they have of that 126 kilometres left if they use the 7,421?
Whereas if they're working on the highway and they're hoping to get to the end of the highway by the time they run out of funding.
So they hope to get the Mitchell Highway finished, yes?
So that's approximately about 15 Ks left to go on the highway.
So you imagine there'll be 115 kilometres left.
111-ish left.
111, sorry. Yeah, 111 kilometres. It will be undone at the end once the funds have been utilised, right? They'll have 111 kilometres in section 2 still remaining in when the funding runs out. So with Lithgow, 29,000 for completion of section 3. How much of section 3 will that do for Lithgow?
Only on the highways, that's going to be potentially more expensive than what their average was. But they're grass. They have the kilometres in section 3, so I don't know how many kilometres will be left.
That's just short, 200 kilometres, all right?
Right.
Right.
Well, let's go to Oberon. So I take it the total of the kilometres of remaining roads to be spread to complete section 1, as at the beginning of this, was 206 kilometres before we started.
Yeah.
So, and there's 293. So we funded 55,552
237.
and we've completed 108, leaving 98. And we've spent 50,408, right?
I'm sorry, there's a mistake there. That's supposed to be 54. With only $506 remaining.
Well, that's what I'm getting to. Leaving approximately 560 at the bottom, my figure was 5,144 remains. But is it 54,408 or is it 5,144 in the last bullet and the remaining? Which is it?
Check in the street.
So Oberon at its meeting on Tuesday agreed to another 50,000 odd to complete section 1, which I'm not sure if you've received general emergency notification. But as I said, we have also decided to go out with an RFT to spray contractors to see what it costs to complete section 2 using one or more contractors directly engaged.
For the full time, 293. Geez,
Or not, well, anything that's not done this year
are you getting RFQ based on per kilometre rate on an average or?
per kilometre rate.
Okay, Jesus. So what are the, sorry to talk out of order,
No,
Mr. Chair.
that's right. Yep.
What are the parameters that I'm just interested with my county council hat on here, what parameters are Oberon think they're putting behind a private contractor for accountability of spending the money and getting the amount of kilometres done? As in they won't get paid if they don't get the kilometres done?
Well, they're going to be paid on a kilometre basis and we're going to be monitoring that and ensuring they do it. And then we'll be verifying.
Yeah, how do you report, how do you monitor it?
Well, the same way the county council does currently, because our handpiece monitors are not working.
Yeah, but all I'm saying is that between a public organisation, there's a little more trust and transparency in a public organisation versus a private contractor sometimes.
Well, Macquarie uses private contractors. It only does 50,000 itself.
Indeed. I just wondering what parameters you're putting in that RFQs.
We haven't set it. We are setting it at the moment.
Oh, right, okay. No, I was just.
But we are just doing, it may be that and it's going to have a reservation to say that, there's no obligation to move that way, but we want to see what the costing comes back at. And it will be on a kilometre basis. We've insisted on that.
Chris, what's the average price per kilometre?
Well, wait a minute. Yeah. it depends per council area. It's recently come out, I think it was in the papers, was it last time it came out? With the kilometre areas, the kilometres, I know for Oberon, it's currently $514 per kilometre. One of the most expensive, I think Lithgow is more expensive. Blaney's dropped to 236, but I think it's up again because they're doing the Mitchell Highway.
So include Terrica.
Yes.
Midwestern.
It greatly depends on where you are, what's the,
Nature of the road,
nature of the road. So
topography,
Like-
intensity, infestation.
Whole environment that's got to be taken into
So,
consideration.
we got a paper last year from Gulliver where it set out for each council what the rate was then. But since then, the rates have gone up again because of the intensity and frequency of infestations. So there was a revision document sent out to the general managers about 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. 4 weeks ago. So one came to Oberon, I know, I saw it. So I'm assuming your general manager, David Shirley, got it. He might have put it in the board papers, did he? No, okay. I know ours went
Operational.
for our last meeting, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, all right, well, when do we envisage that the roadside program will complete, April or earlier? With current fund, Oberon's giving another 50,000, but if the other council's funding stays as above, when do you believe that each of the council's roadside programs will finish?
we've still got to, well, the available for tomorrow, obviously we've got to finish that, so that'll carry on for another while. Baptist has still got, they're remaining, so that'll carry on for a while too. Blaney, we've pretty much finished the main funding, but we've got to move into the, failure / wind farm funding, so that'll then carry on for a while. And then Lithgow has still got remaining funding at the moment as well, so we're probably looking at another month or so's worth at least. Obviously depending on what the weather does to us and other factors get thrown in the mix.
So you'll have a final report to us in May. In fact, we have to go back to our councils. I think it's March now under what's proposed in the draft SLA.
We've done that. We've reported, the results to the council.
And that's what the lady said a minute ago.
Correct, and then we'll be reporting on the end of the program.
So the end of the program should be put in May. Sorry.
So we actually, at Blaney, we actually have an item coming up in our next Tuesday evening business paper, where we're looking at options to make us more sustainable in that regard and complete the program. So following Tuesday, there will be an outcome there.
Okay, thank you. Okay, any further discussion on this matter? The only point I'd make is when these reports come, can we double check the accuracy of the figures and
Yes.
and make sure they're correct, please. And maybe when we start, we say, at commencement, roadside, at commencement, total kilometres to be sprayed, then completed to date. And maybe just put a date in there because
Yeah,
this
so
paper can be prepared. So if it's at the 31st of January, say completed as at the 31st of January.
So do we accept this report now, or do we accept it once amendments and corrections have been made to it? Because what's the sense in accepting an incorrect report?
So
Or do we hold the
could I
open
suggest that-
suggestion?
could I suggest that maybe what the appropriate thing to do is
Make the amendments.
to the recommendation, if I could I propose an amendment to that should say, council notes the report, but prior to acceptance of the report requires a revised roadside spraying program 2024-25 update to be circulated to members out of session or something similar. Have you that?
Yes.
You'll second that?
Yes.
Thank you. Did you get that?
Yes.
All right, so the amendment,
We heard the amendment.
put the amendment, all in favour of the amendment, now the amendment becomes the motion. All in favour of the motion, thank you, passed. Item 9 is the aerial spraying program, Recommendation, council most report, move it please. And Brian, Member Gulliver, thank you. Any further update on this, General Manager?
I'll go to Chris, he's, be more aware of that number of 50 landholders has, changed.
Yes.
So we, landowners are about the same, our hectares have increased slightly. Mowing and public has come up slightly in that regard. Numbers are still down between the previous programs, but now due to the cost of the cost per hectare and what landowners can afford to pay.
So the cost per hectare for blackberry has not gone up like Sussex, has it? How much has it gone off Ken's on it?
Although blackberry's about the same as last.
That's right, that's
year.
what I'm saying, it hasn't gone up that
No.
much.
Tussie came down because we dropped our sale price to make that more competitive. But yeah, so that's where we're sitting. But compared to obviously what we lost parcels the first time, the price is still way higher.
It used to be what, 560, it's now 885, is what you told me.
Yeah, that's for a 10
That's right.
20,
So it's double, yeah.
it's double the price.
So why are we getting less people doing the blackberry? I can understand Australian tussock, but I thought the blackberry numbers and hectares would be up there because everywhere you look, there's blackberry. And the price for the chemicals certainly hasn't had the exponential rise of the tussock price.
No, blackberry prices stay
Yeah, pretty close.
steady. So, that's just in line with what the uptake we're getting. And, like we're offering it, we're promoting it out there. But that's just the,
We're in a cost of living crisis, like.
Yeah.
And cost of doing business, like everyone's struggling on the farm. Just, it's just naturally less people uptaking this service, I reckon.
How much do you think our competitors are taking? I'm getting a number of people saying to me that they've gone with others because they found our services getting too expensive. Have you heard that?
I haven't heard that. I've heard other things. But I don't know how much is being absorbed by other competitors. I can't. Don't find that one like the other.
So obviously we've had a current, there are a number of larger landholders who have currently viewed us in the past. Are we getting them back or have you noticed them drifting? So I know there are a couple of large landholders who I know who used to use our services and I think they've gone elsewhere from what I understand. They may be using Teralga or other things.
There's a few that I know have gone elsewhere. But then there's also some of the other big ones that aren't using that service so much anymore, and they're now just going on to applicating. So, yeah, but in terms of the littler ones, yeah, there's some other stuff happening there, but I don't know that a lot of them are moving across to the other organisations. I think they're just not partaking in the program as much.
How convenient is it for someone to come and buy chemical?
Being aerial, wise into sales.
Just come in to buy it from.
Just got to wander in, let us know what they're after. As long as we've got what they're after, because we don't sell everything, we just sell the stuff that we carry for ourselves. That's all they've got to do. It's no different to walking into any other shop retail.
So have you found with the tussock that there's any concerns by landholders about the efficacy of the product working, especially noting that we're doing resistance drugs?
We have had comments on that. For a later session.
Yes, all right. Fine. We'll note that as discussion. So, all right. All right, do you envisage, so as this is a March program, it's unlikely that we're going to get many more takers take the program at the moment.
We've closed the program at the moment.
Right. And are we still going to make some money out of this with the number of landholders and the hectares?
With the numbers in there, we'll be at break even at best.
You're going to lose money?
At best, break even.
All right. I put the recommendation all in favour. Thank you. Item 10 is biosecurity compliance. Council, the recommendation of council notes report. Can we move it, please? Gulliver, Fry, thank you. Discussions in relation to this. Not a large number of inspections during December and January.
The staff have been roadside spraying, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
Like every year, winter inspections.
So. So with the first inspections, which were only 14, it was about even high risk and low risk, right? Any further discussion on this matter? If not, I put the recommendation all in favour. All right. 10.2 penalty infringement notice, and this recommendation is the council notes report. Member Mover and a seconder. Member Fry. Member Dawson, thank you. Discussion on this matter. The number of penalty infringement notices have not gone up much in the last 4 months, 5 months. Is that correct?
Correct.
So we haven't moved from directions to pins in any of our matters. They're all being resolved.
Correct.
Okay. Any further discussion? If not, I'll put the recommendation all in favour. Carried unanimously. Notice of motion, item 11.1, delegations to the chairperson. The recommendation is that council, 1, determines what changes to the chairperson's delegations are made. 2, the revised version of the delegation manual is uploaded to the CTWA website. The mover, please. Member Fry, seconder. Member Gulliver. Discussion on this one. Sorry.
This is business arising from the prior meeting. And Councillor Ring apologises for today's meeting. Indicated to me that the information that he's provided here is asking us to take that on board when we make any adjustments to the current delegation.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen. I had a point number 5 on page 9A. I had a problem with the deletion of item F. Although item H deals with this to some degree, it doesn't deal with the full ambit of item F. And I therefore have a problem with deleting it because it's a normal duty of a chairman if there are complaints about the general manager to arrange investigations, etc. Item F sends that out against the general manager. Item F sends that out in much more detail than item H, which is lacks that detail. So I wouldn't agree personally with the deletion of item F. Item E, which is referred to above, and what's number 4. What are the delegations of the general manager? I didn't check the general manager's delegations in relation to urgent works, but I'm assuming that there's a similar delegation.
Yes.
I suppose The only issue is if the general manager's on leave or something, and something has to be. I would have thought the 5,000 is a very low figure, so that would be the reason I would be retaining 5. I think it's an operational matter and moving forward in the general manager's hand, but if the general manager's away, I think that the case of retaining over me.
Mr. Chair.
Policy making, I probably agree. I don't have a problem with that.
I do.
Right.
Yeah,
Thank you.
no, I'd probably keep the policy making, and I think it's important for a chair to make policy on the fly, given the
Yeah.
current appetite of the local government minister to take away the option of technology for council meetings. There is a clear intent that he intends to do that, and then change the Local Government Act to take away video conferencing. Get people in get people in a room, wrongly or rightly. But I just think, given that it won't be as easy, and in my experience through the county council over the years, we don't always get a full contingent of county council members appearing. Case in point.
And we have a long time between meetings.
Exactly. So I think policy making could be a handy tool and delegation of the chair, but also the risk is low, in my opinion, as the size and the remit of this county council is incredibly scoped and channeled. And you would hope the council today appoint a chairperson who knows what they're doing, which I believe we have currently, and who they trust with light policy making, notwithstanding it can be undone a matter of weeks later at an ordinary county council meeting. So I'd like to not delete policy making for that reasons, or for those reasons.
Right. So at the moment, we've got arguments against the deletion of C, E, and F.
3, 4 and 5.
3, 4, and 5. Yes. What do people think?
Yeah, I agree with Ben.
So,
Are you comfortable with 6, Mr. Chairman?
look, I don't have a problem with 6, because it only reinforces what's in section 226 of the Local Government Act.
Yeah. No, 6 is fine.
I think that goes without saying. I'm just, Council Ring's problems arose out of obviously a Lithgow experience.
Correct.
I just think can I reaffirm the risk is low in the county council? And we are so scoped and channeled in our remit, and the budget is so much different to a regular council. I don't think we need the overreach or underreach of undelegating the chairperson, whomever it may be at the time. I don't think we need 3, 4, and 5, and I'll put it. I'll get you to put it.
No, you're better at putting it, because I'm the chairperson, so I would think.
Yeah.
I think you should propose an amendment.
Yeah, I am proposing an amendment.
So can you,
To not delete policy making, C. To not delete urgent works clause, E. And to not delete complaints against the general manager, F.
so do we want to put that in the positive to say the changes that should be made to the chairperson's delegations are to include
The
the
following.
elements outlined in the report from section 226 of the Local Government Act.
Noting the deletion of items 3, 4, and 5, I still think you'll need to articulate that those are not being.
Yeah, noting that the items 3, 4, and 5 in the report. Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
will support that.
And then
Thank you.
this fine determines the revised version thereof to be uploaded. Yeah.
And I fully
So can you
support
second
that. Yes.
Okay. All right. Have you got that, Bethany? Do you want any clarification?
She gets the gist of it. I think we all get the gist of it.
All right. So.
Put that amendment.
That's an amendment. So I put the amendment. All in favour? The amendment now becomes the motion. All in favour of the motion. Thank you.
Look at that, effective policy.
Right.
Could have done it yourself.
Not a good idea as it's by delegation.
Too soon.
To do it at all.
But you can do it from now. Yeah.
Item 12, confidential. Council notes in accordance with section 928 of the Local Government Act 1993, general managers of the business on the agenda designated confidential
We
and
need
listed
to,
at the table.
we need to know.
Yeah.
Gallery.
So we haven't gone into.
Oh, right, sorry.
I mean, is a kind referred to in section 1082 of the Act, which will be dealt with upon the meeting closed to the media and the public. The items at 13.1, ARIC minutes, 14.1, organisational structure, 14.2, general manager recruitment, 14.3, serrated tussock resistance, 15, return of GIS flow meters, 16.1, prosecution update, 16.2, property inspections,
And
Can I have-
7.1.4.
and 17,
7.1.4.
7.1.4, which
Eric,
is transferred from ordinary business to confidential.
We could even deal with that first, Mr. Chair.
So, so can I have someone move us into confidential, please? Gulliver, Member Dorset, can I ask the recording cease and that all and that members of the public leave, please? Sorry.